Hello and good evening to welcome to a special program on NewsX brought to you by 1xBet. In the 27th game of the 2023 World Cup, Australia scored a big 388 massive runs and told New Zealand to score 389 to win. This was a historic moment because Australia was the first team to score more than 350 runs in two back-to-back games. Yes, you must remember the carnage at the Arun Jaitley Stadium a couple of days ago. New Zealand, in their turn to bat, is closing in on 300 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. Rachin Ravindra reached his fourth 50 in one-day matches, and captain Tom Latham got out after scoring a 21 run. Zampa caught Latham's ball of Josh Hazlewood. Zampa took his second wicket by getting Daryl Mitchell out, who scored 54 runs during a partnership of 96 runs. With Ravindra, Josh Hazlewood also got 2 wickets, dismissing Will Young for 32 runs and Devon Conway 28 runs, who have started with an opening partnership of 61 runs. Australia's turn to bat saw Travis Head scoring an explosive inning. And I will stop the read here. Tasmin, what was Travis Head's mind thinking at that point of time? What was his head heading for?
Good evening. Definitely. For me, Travis Head, I think he's been sitting on the bench. Obviously, he's coming off injury. He had broken his hand ahead of this tournament. So, it's just one of those wanting it and wanting a chance to show that you can do something. Seeing the top order falling short here and there and not entirely coming to the party for Australia so far. I'm sure when he got the opportunity, he just grabbed it by both hands today. We've seen him explode today. I think you can't say much on your World Cup debut, and coming out with a performance like that, it's just definitely great.
Travis Head's century came quickly in 59 deliveries, making it the third fastest century in the World Cup. In the 28th match, Bangladesh played against Netherlands, and the game is still on. Bangladesh's bowlers did well, causing problems for Netherlands. The Netherlands scored 185 runs for the loss of 6 wickets in the 45th over. What is the current score right now, if you know it, Tasmin?
Definitely,
Vikramjit Singh and Max O'Dowd for low scores. Taskin Ahmed and Shorful Islam took 1 wicket each. Rest is pure information. But Tasneem, what's the latest?
The Netherlands are currently 216 for the loss of 9. Bangladesh just needing 1 more wicket and only 5 balls left to go this innings.
Well, another case and another story of a team not playing their full quota of 50 overs. However, in the 50 overs that Australia played, it was carnage all around. Bob, Christopher Mufufu Pofu.
Yeah.
The legendary South African fast bowler. Christopher, will you fancy bowling in these conditions with 389, 380 runs, 400 runs being the norm? Your views?
I have seen flat wickets, but I felt like today's one was absolutely a belter. And I felt as much as it was a belter, I still felt like the batters just played amazing cricket. And like you're asking, I wouldn't want to be a bowler on this day. It just looks like it's just not a good day for a bowler.
Absolutely. Are you happy that you're retiring from the international cricket, or you've retired officially?
For international cricket, I think I'm good. As you know, I'm playing quite a lot of Legends League cricket happening, and it might not be happening in international cricket, but wherever I'm going also is T20 cricket. So I'm also falling into that trap of being hit a lot. So I'm getting used to it. So at the moment,
you're getting used to being hit. Well, that should be the war cry for all the fast bowlers across the world, because the way we are seeing 350 plus scores, and it's back to back, mind you, it's not just one of these, and seeing this into play is quite a game. Let's shift only our focus to the Australia-New Zealand match. The first power play. Chris, just take us through your understanding. Are these guys playing the right way and they're setting the right template? Your views?
Definitely, I'm enjoying how these guys have been playing, and the most important part here at the moment, when you look at this, how they are scoring, is the part of not losing wickets also at the same time. It's really amazing when you're seeing a team getting to 115 about 15 overs. For me, that just tells you that they are not here for a long time. They're there to just entertain even in that short time that they're there.
Absolutely entertaining to the short time that they are here.
Eh,
Tasneem, is it all about entertainment or is it about serious cricket and also getting hit and getting the right wickets and scoring the records?
Yeah, you know, I think you did ask this interview in the morning to ask me, do I think that it's done for New Zealand, you know, and I did mention to say that you can have a bad start or you can have a bad day in the office, you know. Australia went from a point where they were 200 runs for no loss in 25 overs to scoring just 188 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in their last 26 overs. So for me, I think it's been brilliant. You know, we've been crying for a close match, nail biter. We got it last night. We're crying to see the coin, both sides of a coin. We've seen the Australian batters come out today and be completely just dominating over New Zealand. But New Zealand again showing resilience, showing what happens if you just keep knocking on the door, if you're just patient, you know. They did come and clean up the next 8 wickets we were predicting 500 this morning, you know what I mean? But
Yes.
definitely great comeback for New Zealand from me, you know, like they came back and they just pulled it back. They showed to say, you know what, no matter what's happening, it's not done till the last ball.
Absolutely. Chris, I'm going to ask you a very philosophical question. You're a God-loving, church-going kind of a soft-spoken fast bowler, very rare breed. Tell me, do you think cricket is a great leveler? It humbles you, especially when you're England side or the comebacks that happen in the game? Or if you're a Pakistan side last night and you get a right decision and a wrong action replay third umpire thing, how do you deal with such situations?
like you just said something, that word when you say cricket is a leveler. When you look at how things are going at the moment for England, how things are going for Pakistan, you're asking yourself that this is just the team that won the World Cup just 4 years ago. And when you look at how it's going on, and I felt like when they went into this tournament, when you talk about England, I felt like there's a time where they just thought things would just be easy. The way they've been playing even Test cricket, when you've got the pass ball and you're thinking that you're going to a white ball cricket and you just win things easily, but it doesn't look like how they planned it. So, like you said it straight away. I feel like at one stage I just said to myself, maybe these guys have gone to a little bit, on that side of saying, okay, we are the world champions and things will happen easily like that. But you need to work hard. You need to earn your right and earn your respect to do well like that. So I really agree with you in terms of that.
Now we've come on to something which is very exciting right now, which only happens on NewsX. We're going to deconstruct how Australia and New Zealand clear their innings, especially through the bowling phase. Tasneem, you've got to take us through. These are only stats for this World Cup. All the 5 matches played, we're just deconstructing how they're playing, what the bowlers they're using, how many wickets they are getting, and also the runs scored and balls faced. Your views?
Yeah, definitely. So I think this is going to change quite drastically after especially Australia's explosive start this morning in the first 10 overs. But you can see that they're pretty matched up. You know, they've used 4 bowlers, the 2 of them in 5 innings so far. And this will tell you that they have the experience in the cup. They probably haven't changed much around with their opening bowlers. Definitely taking 5 to 6 wickets here in the first 10 overs. That will tell you that they are both attacking, both very effective within the first 10 overs. Again, their runs conceded. New Zealand slightly on the better side of this end as compared to Australia. I'm going to go on.
Let's look at the balls per wicket for New Zealand. It's 50 balls as compared to
the 60 for Australia. So this will tell you that New Zealand has been doing a lot better with the new ball up front, using their seamers as well. Australia seamers maybe not coming to the show as early with the new ball early on up front for them in the first 10 overs. But again, the boundary count, you can see again New Zealand evidence in the fact that they are bowling a lot more economical. Their boundary count is 9.1 as opposed to the 8.6 for the Australians. Again, average wickets taken is 1 for each of them. So they're both definitely bowling well up front in the first 10 overs, looking to strike early.
So when you look at these graphs, what do you have to tell the fans? How do you make up for it? And then we'll go to Chris and seek his view. Are we bowling in the right direction? And which one is better?
You know, I'd like to say they're both fairly balanced for me in the first 10 overs. obviously, in this fact, because they're both taking early wickets and the runs conceded, there's not much difference between them. It's basically showing you the discipline that happens in the first 10 overs. And as you'll see, before we go on to Bobby, as you see, what happens is the flow from the discipline you get in the first 10 overs tends to overlap as well throughout the innings, and it builds the pressure. You can see the constant pressure build as it goes on.
Well, there's nothing much to get deeper into, but I'll still go to Bobby. Chris, if you can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Chris, when we look at the head-to-head between the two countries, in the first to 10th over, we've got 300 deliveries, which are legit. Runs scored is 230, 223. Both are on the same part. Wickets also one each. But average run, the country scores. Australia is at 48. New Zealand is at 45. What is New Zealand doing right? Are they using their pace, hitting the deck, getting the ball into the rib cage? What is your assessment of it?
I've always, with how I've seen it, the discipline that the New Zealand seamers have had in the past games. Yesterday, I know there was a bit of carnage, but you still give them credit and props for coming back well. As Tez said, 180 runs were scored later for 9 wickets. And for me, like you're saying it rightly, I believe that the New Zealand bowlers are more disciplined, especially in those first few overs, how they handle it. And not saying that Australians are not doing that, but even the cricket of New Zealand, we've seen it in all the years, going back to even the World Cup 2019, how disciplined they are. So I've always been a really good supporter of how New Zealand handle their first 10 overs. Even when it comes to their batting, they keep things simple, but they get the job done right.
Absolutely. They get their job done right. Now we come back onto the big screen again and look at how Australia bowls between the 11th and the 40th over. And mind you, these are all figures from this World Cup, all the past 5 matches, excluding this, which is currently happening. In the 5 innings, the bowlers that they've... Go on. Now, this is about the team batting part. Go on, explain.
So in the first 10 overs, I'm going to start with you in the first 10 overs as we move to the batting phase of how these teams do go on and perform. In the first 10 overs, you can see Australia again using just 5 batters and both of them doing this. But the runs column, I think this is still definitely going to go up after the way they've done it. Australia scoring 287 runs in the first 10 overs. New Zealand 244. Their strike rate, though, is 95.35 as opposed to just the 81 by New Zealand. This is definitely going to tell you the type of gameplay they have.
Absolutely.
Their openers are not there trying to build a gradual foundation, but they're here to take the game to the bowlers up front. They're saying, look, we're not going to wait for you to bowl and take the shine off the ball. We're here to hit the shine off the ball for you guys.
Let's look at the overs and the balls per boundary, runs per boundary, and the average score between the two teams, and it'll be very evident.
So definitely, again, this clearly shows you, balls per dot here as well. They don't take too much time. Both teams as well are sitting on 1.6, 1.4. Their boundary runs, for me, this is where you can start seeing the evident change. New Zealand may be scoring 76%, 76.23 on boundary runs, and Australia 73. But go to the average runs, and you can see that Australia's on 61.
This is where the difference you would see, and this is where the dot balls are evident. They play lesser number of dot balls, which means that Aussies not only attack from the word go, but they also keep the scoreboard busy by taking those fast singles and pushing between the gaps.
Yeah, definitely. I think they keep the bowler constantly under pressure. They want to say, if you're not putting it in my slot and there's nothing entirely for me to be able to hit for a boundary, then I'm definitely still going to look for the one.
Absolutely.
We've seen it a lot today. We've seen them play the drop and run quite often. They don't look to overhit the ball, but more or less just place it in a gap and run hard, push the fielders on it as well.
So when you look at 11 to 40, what is the batting style, how drastically it changes, and then we'll come to Christopher and ask his view about the batting lineup between the two
I think
teams.
For Australia, we go through it again.
Yes.
They have used 10 batters in their last 10 overs. This is in the phase of 41 to 50. They've scored 228 runs at a strike rate of 124. The average dots are 84 as opposed to the 86. I think these numbers definitely will switch a bit as well today. We've seen Pat Cummins coming in and scoring a quick 32 runs off just 12, 14 balls as well. So I think these numbers will definitely shift for you after today's switching innings. New Zealand, as opposed, they're out here definitely looking for a runner ball as well in the last 10 overs. So that is something Australia would want to be mindful of. Yes, you may say New Zealand is currently behind their required run rate, but they do have the ability, they have the big match temperament to keep their cool and just keep the scoreboard ticking.
Well, very interesting point, Christopher. As you see here, the accumulation of runs between the 11th, the 41 over and the 50 overs is very high when it comes to Australia, and they hit some big shots. However, New Zealand go down slightly a bit because they lose out on the wickets and the scoring runs go down a bit. What is your view? Have you noticed New Zealand scoring less as compared to Australia? Your views?
Yeah, I've actually been looking at that. When you look at Australia, even today, when you look at how it happened, yes, they lost wickets, but the way they still keep attacking, for me, that's the impressive part in terms of their team at the moment. So I will still support how they are actually attacking in those last 10 overs. They actually don't care whether they've got wickets falling. They're still going at that rate that as a team they've put in.
Well, absolutely. These are all the exclusive stats that we've got. Another example by the team bowling. Next, if you can go on to the next slide, we'll have a look at it. This is Bangladesh and Netherlands. Of course, we are trying to demystify the Bangladesh and the Netherlands. Just Tasmin, you want to take us through the first 10 overs between the two? Yeah.
Definitely in the first 10 overs. You can see that Bangladesh just losing only 4 wickets in the first 10 overs as opposed to the 8 wickets by the Netherlands. Will tell you that their solid opening pair, maybe top 3, top 4 batters are actually more solid, probably more experienced as well. And they have the mind, to tell themselves, look, it's not the end of the game. If we don't get scoring at 8 and over or 10 over, they have the ability to remind themselves that they're able to catch up in the middle order of the overs as well. I'm going to quickly go.
Look at the difference here. Explain this difference to
So the runs conceded in these overs again. Bangladesh obviously just 254 runs, as well as Netherlands on 263. This will tell you that the seam bowlers, for me, are definitely coming out and definitely showing to say that, look, the Netherlands are saying we out here taking more wickets, but Bangladesh is saying we out here making sure that they don't score as many runs against us as well.
Let's look at Netherlands batting right now. Well, the breaking news is that Netherlands is at 229 for the loss of 10 wickets in the 50th over. Let's go on to the last bowling over so that we can go on to their batting slide as well. Yeah.
So in the last 10 overs, Bangladesh are out here taking 8 wickets. That's a lot of wickets for the last 10. But Netherlands, again, still able to attack by taking 11 wickets. That's 3 more wickets more than Bangladesh at the top of the order. You go back to the runs conceded. Again, you see that the Netherlands are expensive. 335 runs conceded as opposed to the 247.
Well, this is where the difference happens, because Netherlands takes more wickets, but at the same time concedes more runs. And this should be a problem when you're actually facing and you're scoring a 229 run total. But the larger question is that I'm going to ask Christopher. Christopher, when you look and try to demystify these stats and try to make sense of it, it's very difficult and very erratic for a team like Netherlands and Bangladesh, because you have to really look at a pattern, and you can't find pattern because they are completely unpredictable. So how do you deal with a team like that? Your views, Chris?
Very, very, very true there. And when you just talked about the score being 229, I said to myself, with a team like Netherlands, yes, it might look like a small score, but I still have that feeling that something could happen. Like you're saying, they're a little bit unpredictable on how to just say that who's going to come out at the top. Because when you look at it, the stats of it are just saying that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But when you are playing them, you just have to be one of those teams that just become ruthless. Because if you take them lightly, they will just come at that day and, steal the show.
All right. Christopher, that's an interesting point. Tasneem, you had an important point to make. Yeah.
Yes, I have an update for you. New Zealand are currently 331 for the loss of 7. They need 58 runs in 31 balls. Definitely looking like it's going to be one of those close ones again, as we did have yesterday. The big question for me right now is they just have about Jamie Nisham, the last guy for them at the crease, one of their all-rounders. And it's definitely going to look interesting. I'd like to see how it plays out as well, to see which team can hold their nerve the longest.
Well, absolutely. This is the last question to Christopher. Christopher, do you think the one-day cricket needs last ball finishes, especially this World Cup, considering the echoes that go around saying that, you know, the ODI should only be a part of the World Cup and not anywhere else. Do you think we need the last ball finishes and the last over wins? Your views?
I definitely love those. I can't, like for this World Cup, for me, it's just been bringing more and more, you know, those good intense finishes. And today, still, as I know Jimmy Nisham, I still feel like it could be another tight finish, and we love that, and that's what people pay big bucks to do. You know, a lot of people have been talking about 50 over cricket being finished, but for me, this will tell you that it's not finished. It's still entertaining, it's still fun, and hopefully this game, as Tess said it, we see how it goes. And you've got Matt Henry there at the crease. He's still a gun. Believe me, he can whack a few out of the park. So to me, that's going to be another tight finish, a good one also.
Well, absolutely. We are reminded of the Lenny Kravitz number. It ain't over till it's over. Well, it's a close match between New Zealand and Australia. It's a cliffhanger, and that's what fans have come here for. Thank you very much for watching our stats, our entire demystifying of 300, 600 deliveries bowled in a day, and that's all we had time for. Keep watching NewsX.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.